सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Yes.
So the two words I asked next time. Yoga Vittama in the first verse. And Yoga Yukta Tama in the second verse.
Yuktatamaha.
Yeah. So, is there any difference? Because
there's no difference. It's the same verb. Meaning is same. Arjuna is asking the question as comparison. That's where the mistake is. He is comparing form worship to formless worship. Saguna Brahma Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Now, these sort of comparisons can be made only with something which is similar. See, you cannot ask that question. For example, is it better to do 10th standard or to do PhD? Which student is a good student? Better student? 10th standard student or university student? You cannot do that. Why? Because they are not similar. They are sequential. In sequence, you cannot ask that question, which is better? Because the second step is not possible without the previous. The previous step is incomplete without the second, next. So the second is dependent on the previous. The previous is incomplete without the next. Now you tell me which is better. To live in an incomplete house or to live in a house where there is no foundation? Right. Now the question itself is faulty. Same way, Arjuna asking that question, that whether form or formless. Because choice can be made only with similar. Tea or coffee. Similar. Tea or tumbler you can't ask. Would you like to have tea or tumbler? You can't have tea without a tumbler. Now there's no point, the cup. Right? Tea or cup. Content is not possible without the container. Container is useless without the content. Same way, you cannot do this. Nor can you do these two things simultaneous. Remember, that's why it's important. between similar, three words you got to remember here: sequence, similar, and simultaneous. You cannot say every Sunday morning I will attend Vedanta class and do Nirguna Brahma study. Rest of the time I am doing Sunday evening I go for Saguna Brahma Upasana. Not possible. You cannot do it. It will be like a student coming and telling you, morning I attend the 10th standard class, evenings I go to master's degree class. You can go. Like I used to go. ICWA final. Your friends were going. I have not even enrolled ICWA. I would sneak into the class and go and sit. And professor knew that, I'm there, but he said it's okay. I don't know how he allowed, but he allowed. It's okay. Let him also be here. It's okay. The class is going on for ICWA final. BCom tadinginatom. No clue what they are talking, what clarification he is asking, what answer he is giving. There's no connection. But still, I used to go and sit there because of some other reason, not for one thing for sure. You can't understand what is going on there. You cannot participate in that knowledge transaction. Same way, you cannot go for 10th standard in the morning, evening I go for university class. Not possible. Either you attend 10th or you attend university. Now again, don't ask me, isn't it university superior? That's a fallacious question here. Because without 10th, you cannot go there. Without passing the previous, you cannot go to the next. So, Saguna Brahma Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Upasana is the sequence. Without Saguna Brahman, you cannot go into Nirguna Brahman study. Not possible. Arjuna is asking which is better. And Krishna knows what he is asking. And since that person is asking this question, it is very clear that he is not ready for the next. Right. He is not ready for the next. He is not understanding what it demands. So he says, Saguna Brahma Upasana is best. He is the best. The one who practicing Saguna Brahman is the best. Why? Is because Saguna Brahma Upasana is the one which is going to be refining your mind. It is going to purify your mind. It is going to cleanse your mind of all melodies. See, so this practice is a must. But at the same time, what we need to understand is Nirguna Brahma Upasana as a rule is advanced practice. Later stages. Initial stages, you have to be in the practice of Saguna Brahman. So he says, both are compulsory if you want moksha. Because his question is that who is best, means he is asking who is very close to moksha. Who can get to moksha faster? Who can get to realization faster? Liberation faster? That is the implication there. At least Krishna takes it like that. So, who is best when he is asking? What we need to understand is both Saguna Brahma Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Upasanas both are compulsory. Can you bypass one and get to moksha? Not possible. You cannot skip. You cannot bypass Saguna Brahma Upasana and directly go to Nirguna, nor can you directly go to moksha from Saguna Brahma Upasana only. Right? Can you afford to skip one of that? Not possible. I'm giving you one more word now. First என்ன சொன்ன? Sequence. Similar. Simultaneous. Skip. 4 words. If you know, 4 yes. If you understand, you can understand the question and the answer. Right? That's why Krishna specified that, saying that this is my opinion. In my opinion, Saguna Brahman is Upasakas are the best. Why? Because as it is, the student is feeling the pain. The student is suffering from a fundamental issue, complex. All students, disciples will feel that sense of inferiority. If you are not having that sense of inferiority, you can never be a disciple, student, seeker. Why? The moment you turn introvert, first thing you encounter is all your defects, all your flaws, and you are going to be having a lofty ideal, right? In comparison to the ideal that you have fixed, the goal that you have to your current position. It's too much of a distance. How much I have to travel? And every time you put an effort, you keep falling. Right? So, more the effort you put in, more you fall. As a result, he thinks almost it's an impossible task for liberation, realization, freedom, moksha, nirvana. All these are just words. After a point, he starts feeling that pain. That's the position of Arjuna here. So the first job of a teacher is what? To provide that confidence. You see? To give that confidence. Look here. It's very easy to get yourself passed in Oxford, Cambridge, ella romba easy. In India, you should fight. IIT la you should study. That is far, far superior to even Oxford and Cambridge. But in the world ranking, where is it? But still we say what? The student who is aspiring here, we say what? Look here. Studying there, competing with those people is not a big deal. Competing here is why? The quality is so good. The quality of students are so good. You got to compete with them. That will sharpen your skills. Why do we say that? Not because this is ranked better than that. No, it's not because of that. Then what is the reason? The student is already having that issue with him. So first thing we have to tell him is what? Where you are, what you are struggling, what you are attempting to do is better than that. Same way, Krishna is telling Arjuna that them do I consider best in yoga. They are the best in yoga, says, because he asked that same question. Who is the best? Now Krishna is saying, whoever is worshipping this Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman means what? Can be in two ways. You can worship. Saguna means with qualities. With qualities means with perception. Remember, Saguna to be taken as not Sattva Rajas Tamas here. Okay. Saguna means he will have Sattva Rajas Tamas in them. That's not the aspect here. That is why Saguna Brahma Upasana is taken as worshipping the form. Nirguna is taken as formless. Now we are talking about a form. Arjuna has already experienced two forms. What are the two forms? Krishna and Vishwarupa. Right. Aturbuja Krishna and Vishwarupa Krishna. He has experienced both. These two were called as Saguna Brahma Upasana. Saguna Brahman means with form, which means you can perceive through your senses. You can see. Right. Udupi you go, Krishna is different. Pandharpur you go, how he is standing there. Hands on the hip and looking out. That's how you'll be standing. Next time when you go there, you see Pandharpur is not standing straight. He's not straight. Why he is holding? He is peeping and seeing inside what is going on. Because that boy Pundrikan was serving his parents. Since you are serving the parents, he heard about him a lot, Krishna. So I want to see how that fellow is doing it. So one day he went to his house. Night time, bedtime. Assuming he thought, he'll be free at that time because they'll be sleeping, they would have gone to sleep. And Krishna didn't understand. Older you get, difficult for you to sleep. Right. So this boy was giving them, all the tablets, BP tablet, this tablet, Ella tablet. So this boy was giving them the tablets and all those things, and then, massaging their feet. And both of them doesn't seem to be going off to sleep. And that's the time he entered. And he told, hey, I have come. He didn't know what to do, because any elderly person comes, the first thing what you are supposed to do is what? Offer them a seat. In this boy's house, nothing was there. And he found one piece of stone. He took that stone and threw and said, stand there, I'll come. He didn't even get up to receive Krishna. He threw that. On that he was standing, so he has to balance. Right? One problem is balancing. Just to stand on that, you don't have to keep. Why he has to balance is, from there he wants to peep and see how this boy is serving. That's why the position itself will be like that. In Pandharpur, if you go, see the statue, it won't be like, not like Tirupati Balaji, standing erect and straight and looking. It will be like that. So to get that balance, he is holding. Right. Tirupati, you go, how he is. Very different. Srirangam, you go. ரொம்ப tired இருக்கு சார். How long to stand, That's so tired. Go to sleep. Lying down. All these things are called as Saguna Brahma. Right? Perceivable form. Nirguna is non-perceivable, imperceptible. Right? E is equal to mc square. Anybody has seen?
In the bus we are seeing.
You just see the letter. That letter is also what? Letter has got nothing to do with the idea. It's just a idea. What is that representing? That equation represents something, right? Do you see that? That's called nirguna. It's purely conceptual. Right? Even as a concept, it is not a possibility. At least E is equal to mc square can be intellectually conceived. Right? Nirguna Brahman, when we are discussing, it cannot be captured by the intellect also. Right? So therefore we say to practice your focus on that demands a lot of preparation from your end. How do you prepare? Using Saguna Brahman only you prepare. It's a preparation. That is why we say it is compulsory. You cannot escape any one of them. You cannot bypass. You cannot skip. Cannot skip through the proper process. But at the same time, can you practice that simultaneously, sir? That is also not possible. It has to be done in that sequence only. That same order you have to go. You cannot change it. You cannot say, I will start from Nirguna, then I will come to Saguna. That is also not possible. You have to start from Saguna and go to Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Now from verse 3, so second verse, he has spoken off about Saguna Brahma Upasana. And he has given the qualification also. He has given us 3 qualifications to claim yourself to be Saguna Brahma Upasana. Okay, keep that in mind. There are 3 points he gave. What are the 3 points, sir? Steadfast. Those who have that. Then fixing mind on me. Then worship me with Shraddha. So there should be, that is also he says, supreme Shraddha. Parhya Shraddhaya, he says. So it is supreme Shraddha. Which all those things we have seen already. So I am not going to repeat all that, okay? Now 3 qualifications. With the 3 qualifications, he is saying who is practicing Saguna Brahma Upasana becomes qualified for Nirguna Brahma Upasana. In fact, in the strict languaging, if you go by, they don't use the terminology Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Right? Nirguna Brahma Jnana only they use. Then you can immediately understand. It becomes easier. Saguna Brahma Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Jnanam. That's it. So before you can, through Nirguna Brahma Jnanam, moksha is attained. Right? Through that. But for you to qualify for this Nirguna Brahma Jnanam, you have to practice Saguna Brahma Upasana. Why? Saguna Brahma Upasana alone gives you the necessary qualifications. Don't worry, it's coming in fourth. So when you go to the fourth verse, he is giving the qualifications for this. So that is why we study 3 and 4 together. These two verses, studied. Immediately you have to study. You don't give time. Many places we study 2 verses together because of 2 reasons. Sometimes the idea is incomplete in the first, it continues to the second. So therefore we study them together. Here in this portion, for example, that's how it happens in chapter 2, verse 62 and 63. Verse 62 is incomplete. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangastesho pachayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kama krodot vijayate. Not complete. Krodat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti brahmaha smrtir brahmsat buddhinasha buddhinashat pranashyati. That is where it is completing. Therefore, we study them together. Here, 3 and 4 is not a continuation in that sense. Then why we are studying them together? Traditionally, we study them together. It's not decided by us actually. Right? Traditionally, they have said these 2 verses should be studied together. Now, when you inquire upon that, only we understand why they asked us to do like that. Why? Because if you do 3 and give us space, you miss out. Whereas in 2, Krishna is explaining what is Saguna Brahma Upasana. Also, he is explaining who is the Upasaka. Right? Object of Upasana. All 3 he has given in 2. Right? The Upasaka, what is the qualification, and what is on which the object of Upasana. Right? Where you focus. All 3 were given in 2. Now, in 3 and 4 together you study only, you get all these 3. Otherwise, your study cannot be equal. You're all with me? Because what is Arjuna asked? Comparison, no. Comparison wise, you have to take the concepts. Right? The concept he has given. Here he has given me. Those ever steadfast devotees who fixing mind on me. So object is very clear. Who is the object, sir? Krishna. Krishna can be either Chaturbhuja Vishnu or it can be Vishwarupa. Either case. So you can take it this way or you can take it that way. Since just then he has come out of that Vishwarupa, Arjuna is asking this quick question. We take it as Vishwarupa. But either case, it doesn't make big difference. So he has given the qualification. He has given on what? What is that? 3. What is the Upasana? It's all that he has given. Same way he is giving in 3 and 4. That's why we read them together. Right? But explanation will go step by step. Okay? 3 and 4 together. Yetvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sadvatra brahmachintyam cha kutastamachalam dhruvam sanniyam yendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha.
एत्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम्
अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते
सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च
कुटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः
ते
नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः. Verse 3. Those indeed who worship the imperishable, indefinable, unmanifest, omnipresent, unthinkable, unchanging, immovable, and eternal. Verse 3. Verse 4. Having well restrained the group of senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, they also reach me. Right. Now, what he is doing in these two verses, 3 and 4 together, is this. He is giving the nature of what is Nirguna Brahman. When we say Nirguna Brahman, what is it? 1. 2. What is the effect of Nirguna Brahma Upasana? What is the phala? So 1, Nirguna Brahman Swarupa is explained. What is the nature of it? 2, he is explaining what is the effect of it. And he is giving what is the qualification of the Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. Who is that Nirguna Brahma Upasaka? So, what is Nirguna Brahman? Who is the Upasaka? And what is the effect? These are the 3 points. Is giving in verse 3 and 4. Right. Now, first he is moving on, starting with explaining what is Nirguna Brahman. Remember, these words, what is given here, Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, all these words, when he is using, don't take these words to be defining Brahman. Right? They are not defining, they are only pointing out. Right? It's like the finger pointing to the moon. The finger is not the moon. But without the finger, you cannot see the moon. Or the famous example in the scriptures they give is Chandra Shaka Nyaya, the tree branch moon analogy. In the Nyaya Shastra, they give. There are supposed to be 45 Nyayas. It's been used like this. Now, what are these words? These words are not defining Brahman. What is Brahman? You can't say Aksharam, Anidesham is a definition. No. These are all ideas given to us to contemplate. More for contemplation. For you to try to capture that with all these words. Right. So we go through these words and don't think, now I have understood Brahman. It's not like that. Right? It's a very tricky work, this is. Like, for example, a child. It's very interesting how the child understands things. To a child, you show something and say, it's a cow. Madu. Cow says. It sees that. That cow goes. Another cow comes. Now the child will say, that's a cow. Correct? Yeah. Now Suresh Rao comes. I say, this is Suresh. Okay, Suresh uncle. It should be Tata actually. Right? For courtesy, I'm saying. Suresh. Now Suresh leaves. Manjunath comes. The child will not say, Suresh uncle. Isn't it? It will ask, who is this? You see that? Cow word which I have given to the child is different from that sound, Suresh. What difference? This is how you are supposed to study. Basics, you should have covered all those things and come here. Only then you can understand these words. Otherwise, it's very tough. It is. What is the difference?
One is a name and the other is
One is general, another one is specific. General definition. Suresh is specific. In language wise, they call it as, what is it? Pronoun, huh?
No.
proper noun.
Proper noun. Cow is a noun. Suresh is a proper noun. Brahman cannot be defined with proper noun. It's only general. General, you can talk. You can never give pinpoint and say, this is it. But since it can never be pinpointed, you cannot say it is. It's not possible. That impossibility was attempted by these great masters and told that it is possible for you to capture it. How you can capture it? That's where the Chandra Shakanyaya comes and helps us. Even though that tree, that branch, that leaves and things, nothing to do with the moon, but still that helps you to locate the moon. Similarly, the word Brahman is not Brahman. Isn't it? The word Brahman is not Brahman. Brahman is different. But you need something to hold on to. That holding on can be pure idea, then it is called Nirguna Brahman. If it is a form representing an idea, that's called a Saguna Brahman. Right. Directly, it is not possible. Now all of you can understand. So directly how a person can go to such abstract? Not possible. Therefore, what do we give? We give a form and train that mind to capture the concept through the form. So whenever you see Chaturbhuja Vishnu, it's not just the picture, it's a concept, it's an idea. You are supposed to be connecting to that idea. If you are not connecting to the idea and holding on to this picture, redundant. It's like I hoist the flag in my house and keep saluting it every day, but I'm doing all anti-national activities. The flag should trigger what? The flag should trigger the national consciousness in you. If someone were to insult that flag, you should get the feel as though he has insulted you. Only then you are having national consciousness. Remember, national consciousness doesn't mean, after all, it's just a flag, so what? Just a piece of cloth, no? He's burning a piece of cloth, so what? He bought it. He paid for that, no? I paid, I bought. I pay, I buy the shirt, I burn the shirt. Can you challenge me on that? No one can challenge me. You can't get angry at me because I'm doing it. Whereas I take that same cloth in the form of the tricolor and I burn that. You should get angry. You're also clapping. But then what are you doing every day? Hoisting the flag and saluting. Redundant that is. Same way. The form was given to you representing an idea. Remember. So all idols represent an ideal. The form of Ganesha represent an idea. It's not a form. It's not just a picture. Otherwise, it's a funny picture to have a human body and elephant head. To counter that, another fellow said, I will put a better one. What? Human body and lion head. Elephant dana, I have lion head. It looks funny. But remember, it's not just that. It's a concept. Saguna Brahma Upasana means through the form, I am trying to capture the idea, concept. In Nirguna Brahma Upasana, if you say, what are you attempting here, sir? Directly I am going to the concept without the aid of a form. All of the difference. So for that, you need certain concepts. Need not be just one concept. It can be multiple. So that is why he is giving few words here, including the words used by Arjuna also. Aksharam, Avyaktam is the word used by Arjuna for referring to Nirguna Brahman. The same words is used by Krishna also. He is also using the same words here. He says Aksharam, Anirdeshyam. Now we will see one by one what is the meaning of each word. Right? Which is just a way in which you can contemplate, right? For you to reflect, or for you to think. Stricter terminology here used is Nididhyasanam, loosely translated as meditation. Right? Nididhyasana. So, Nirguna Brahma Upasana means what? Strictly speaking, Nirguna Brahma Upasana means doing Nididhyasanam. Now you come back to the basic question of Arjuna. Who is better? The one who is going to temple and worshipping the idol, or the one who is doing? There's no connection. The question itself has no connection actually. You see, how can you compare that fellow with this fellow? He is far advanced stage of spiritual development, because to conceive, to think on abstract without any aid of a form. A form can be from the fire onwards elements. Before that, there's no perception. Pure sound. Pure sound you have to focus on. That is why we have taken one of the best form of taking is to meditate on Om. Why? Om is the only sound which is so pure. What is pure sound? Pure sound means the sound that can never have any associated ideas. Om sound will never trigger any thought association in you. All other words will trigger a possibility of a thought association is there. That is why orthodox people don't recommend this meditation on Om for common people. You have to chant this Om along with the mantra. Pure Om you cannot, not allowed. Pure Om is allowed only to a sannyasi. See, sannyasi don't say immediately a person who is wearing ochre robe, okay? That's not sannyas here. Vedic sannyasa is not that. Right? Means one who has renunciate. One who has renounced. Nyasam means giving up. Prefix with some. Is it? Fully given up. Huh? No. It has one more meaning. Fully given up what now? Kada some. Some means good. The one who has given up completely, good. That person is whom we call as highly evolved personality. Very difficult to conceive. You see. Shankara, what is the meaning? Sam karoti iti Shankara. What is the meaning there? The one who bestows good. So sam means what? This. Put that here. Completely giving up what now? Good. What is it? He is completely giving up punya. Punya, apunya, vivarchita pantha. That's called spiritual path. For whom? Not for everyone. In the initial stages, giving up apunya and holding on to punya is the form, is the method. After that, what you have to do? Give up that punya also. The one who is completely giving up that punya, total en block, I am giving up that punya. He is called a sannyasi. Okay. Not ochre color. Everyone, we think, sir, whether I maintain my personal account, or I maintain my company account, or I maintain a trust account, what difference does it make? I maintain accounts, no? Personal account, savings account. I have. Now what is it? No. I don't have any savings account, sir. But what are you doing? Trust account I'm maintaining. You're an accountant, na finished. So don't take sannyas to be a lifestyle. Sannyas is not a lifestyle. Sannyasa is a bhavana. Right? It's an attitude. Sannyas is an attitude. It's not a lifestyle. It's not an action. Now today we have taken costume. Costume the sannyasi. Right? The one who has the courage to give up punya also. So the problem to you people is that you don't even understand the meaning of punya. Now what to do now? What it is to give up punya, you don't know. You see? That's what Maitreyi asked. When Yajnavalkya said, I'm distributing my wealth. Both of you take. She asked, what are you going to do? How are you going to live? Isn't it? Because Yajnavalkya, he didn't get fed up. It's not that, he has gone so old. Right? It's not like that. After giving up the whole thing, where are you going to go now? What are you going to do? Yes. Same way, giving up means that completely to drop. Not interested in punya. For that, you should know what it is to have that punya. That you are going to give up. That you are willing to give up. Not that you have to give up. Your willingness to give up. Such a person focuses on this. So this is designed for contemplation. Nididhyasana. Nirguna Brahma Upasana means that is why orthodox people, they say Nirguna Brahma Jnanam. They remove that word. Upasana they remove. Replace it with Jnanam. Why? Because you cannot do Upasana there. You can only have knowledge. Jnanam only is possible. How? Not through Shravana Manana. Shravana Manana over. Now you are going to be doing Nididhyasana. For that, they give certain words. What are they? Aksharam. First word. Beautiful order. The words he is using. A slight, way if you see, very interesting words he uses. The first three words. Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam. And Achintyam. These three, these four words, will be very interesting. Add that also. It's all, so it's you can group them together. Easy to remember, that's all. Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam. And then he is using Achintyam later. Sarvatragam and then Achintyam. The Sarvatragam, I'm just keeping it separately. That order. And then Kutastham, Achalam, Dhruvam. Aksharam means imperishable substratum. Na ksharati. Iti aksharam. That which will not get destroyed. That which is not going to be destroyed means anything that is a substance will perish by nature. Any substance. It's a question of time. Right? It will perish. It will get destroyed. So Brahman is not a substance. Since it is not a substance, there is no possibility for it to perish. Therefore, what is Brahman, sir? Brahman is imperishable. 1. 2. Anirdeshyam. Nirdeshyam, anirdeshyam. You have to split it like that. Then it will be a little easy. Now, anirdeshyam means it is indefinable. You can't define it. You cannot capture that through words. You cannot point out this is Brahman through words. You cannot do that. Why? Because words come into picture when. Why it is not possible? A word comes in, we create words. How do we create words? There is something. There's something is come in. There was no word called corona. Correct? In 70s, if somebody says corona, what would be the reaction of people? Not there. There is a virus. So for that virus, we are giving it a name. Correct? Or there is a new concept. Right? There is a new idea got developed. To capture that idea, we have words. So words gets formed based on 2 reasons. Reason 1, to refer to a particular object or to a concept. Brahman is neither. Because all definitions, whether it is an object or a concept, there has to be certain properties. There has to be certain qualities. Correct? Brahman doesn't carry any properties with it. So therefore, it can never be described. You can't describe it. You can't define it. Right? To define, you need a word, right? To define something, it needs to have some peculiar property. Based on that only, you define it. A cow is different from a buffalo. A stag is different from a deer. Isn't it? Why you have 2 words? Because the properties of a stag is different from the properties of a deer. Therefore, we use 2 words. Something which has no properties, what will you do? How will you define it? You have to say it as what? It has no properties. Since there is no properties, it cannot be described, cannot be defined. That's all. Avyaktam. Avyaktam means not manifested. Not manifested means it is not available for the senses to perceive. That's the meaning. Avyaktam means akarana gocharam. Means it's not available to be captured by the senses. See, words may not be able to describe something, but you can see it. You can't say what it is, but you can see that, no? பார்க்கலாம்ல. You can't define it. What is it னு சொல்ல முடியாது. But you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste, you can touch. Is that possible? Yes, no, that is also not possible. Why, sir? This is avyaktam, unmanifest, not available. Achintyam, unthinkable. Something that may not be available for the senses to perceive, but intellect to conceive, no? Isn't it? Atoms are not available for the senses to perceive, but intellect can conceive, no? You can infer. So what is he doing? He is destroying all the pramanas. Pratyaksha pramana gone. How? Because all knowledge is possible for us only through what? Through certain sources, certain methods. Right? That's why we keep asking the question, what is the source for that? On what basis you are saying that? Who's claiming it? So something you can say, I saw, I heard. So senses are capturing. Through that you can say, that's what we call as pratyaksha pramana. And then we have a popular one. Most used is the inference. Now he is destroying that also. Achintyam. You can't even derive Brahman through logical deduction. You can't logically deduct and conceive Brahman. Inferentially, I am going to capture Brahman, sir. This is not possible. So it is not available for this, and it is not available for the thing. And he has also destroyed one more very, very controversial statement of Krishna here. It is anirdeshyam. There, you can't describe that, you can't define it. He has removed even the Shabda possibility. Shabda Pramana also he has removed. And that's the Pramana, that's the beauty here. He is removing. What he is referring to is all that worldly, comments by people, statements of people are not going to be explaining what is Brahman. So Brahman is what it is not available for senses to perceive. It is not available for the mind and intellect to conceive. And it is not available through somebody who knows describing it so that I can capture it. That is also not possible. But it is imperishable. If you really follow Krishna, யார்கிட்ட காது குத்துற? Piercing ears, you say, you bluff someone. Don't bluff, man. Is there a possibility for such a thing to exist? Something is existing, but what is that? It is not this, it is not that, it cannot be conceived by this, it cannot be conceived by that. Nobody knows. See, then it must not be existing, no? Because even a non-existing entity fits into all these definitions, remember, isn't it? Something which is not Asat. Asat will fit into all this meaning. Asat is Aksharam. Correct, no? Asat is Aksharam. Asat is what? Can you describe what is Asat? That which is not existing. Can you describe that? Not possible. Is Asat available for senses to be perceived? No. Is Asat. So therefore, what is Brahman? Brahman is Asat. Yeah. Krishna, hey, irida. Don't jump, man. Wait. That is why you can't hold on to any one of these words. You have to take all that in totality. Don't stick to any one. Take all that and then go beyond. That's why the Chandrashaka Nyaya is very important. That Nyaya beautifully explains that. Krishna says, wait, man. It is Sarvatra. It is omnipresent. It is everywhere. And not only it is everywhere, it is Kutastha. It's Kutastha also. Kuta is, it has two meanings. One is the anvil of the goldsmith, the ironsmith. The anvil they keep to mold. Hot metals get shaped. And he'll go on hitting to give it a shape. And what will change is the metal, but the anvil will not. It will be the same. Nothing will happen to that. Same way, without that anvil, it's not possible to make that molding. Molding is not possible. But the anvil is supporting that, but the anvil doesn't undergo any change. So therefore, what is it? By stating it is omnipresent and by stating it is Kutastha, Krishna counters the possibility that Asat. No. It's not Asat, it's referring to Brahman. So Kuta means that, Kutastha. Another meaning for Kuta we have is, there's another one they say, is Kuta means showing something which is not there. Showing something when you are not having it. That's called Kuta. Kutastham means that which is supporting that. Or to put it in a very simple words, Kuta means false. What is supporting the false? The supporter of the false. What is a false? World is a false. What is supporting it? The snake is a false. Snake is Kuta. Kutastha is what? The rope. What is supporting that without which this cannot exist? That's called Kutastha. So the world that we are experiencing, the samsara that we are experiencing is Kuta. That which is supporting that is Kutastha. Beautiful word. Kutastha. Fascinating idea. Now, most of these points we have covered, so that's why I'm going faster. Okay. In my speed. To me, this is fast. Okay. Don't say fast and I do. Whatever I can do, I can do. That's all it is. It's like running. However fast you can run, you can run. It is also immovable. Achalam and dhruvam. This achalam and dhruvam refers to space and time. It's beyond space and beyond time. All put together is the pointers indicating the formless reality, helping the seeker to contemplate on. So that's the focus here. You see, it's not the idea that is. So what is it, sir? It means all these words refer to what? All these words refers to only one idea. Finally points to one idea. That is, you cannot connect to Brahman objectively. Why? Brahman is the subject. Brahman is the subject which conceives. Therefore, Brahman can never be conceived. Like a famous example we give. The light of the torch can illumine everything in the world except the batteries. It cannot. Why? Because the battery is behind it. It's the subject which is enabling the torch to illumine, to light. So the light of the torch can never illumine the battery. It's not possible. So therefore we say you cannot conceive Brahman as an object. It's not possible. So don't try that. This is the central theme. Right? All these words give finally where it's pointing out to this one idea. What is that? Now I'm touching the moon. So far it's a tree, branch, this leaves and this, that, and all the description. Okay, with all this, what are you going to see? Finally, what you have to understand is it is the subject. Since it is the subject, it can never be objectified. That I is all pervading, always there. I never gets destroyed. The waker gets destroyed, the dreamer gets destroyed, the deep sleeper gets destroyed. But the I who is claiming to be the waker, the I that is claiming to be the dreamer, the I that is claiming to be the deep sleeper, that I is indestructible. The waker can never understand that I, the dreamer can never understand that I, the deep sleeper can never understand that I. Then how you will get it? There is only one possibility. Only Shabda Pramana is the only way. Only from the Upanishads there is a possibility. These ideas were revealed and explained to us, indicated to us, taught to us through the Upanishads. So Upanishads is a Pramana. So none of all the other methods and everything he has deleted. Finally, what is left out, sir? So even that Laukika Shabda also will not help you. All your scientific terminologies I am bringing will not help. Nothing will reveal that. Now I am going to study consciousness through all that you fix all over the body. The fact that the fellow going and sitting for that exercise, what is the proof? I subject to that experiment. What is the meaning of that? I have not understood consciousness. The one who has understood consciousness will not subject himself for that or herself for such an experiment. Why? Because they know it can never be captured that way. This Laukika Shabdas will not help you. This worldly study, the scientific research, you can do whatever you want. It is not possible. That is called a pramana, remember. There are criteria to claim something as pramana. One of the things we say, something to be treated as pramana is what is established by that pramana is final. It is not subjected for further inquiry, further scrutiny. It's not possible. Yeah. I licked carbon. It's black. Imagine a person says, carbon, charcoal. I tasted charcoal, sir. Black nath. It is black. If a fellow says, what is... He is laughing. You are also laughing. But you read a huge research paper stating consciousness is studied by the scientist in the laboratory. It's the same thing. Why, sir? What is to be established by one pramana is not subjected to further inquiry. Using that same pramana, you can object. That is possible. My eyes versus your eyes, possible. Debate is possible. Discussion is possible. I can say, my eye says it is square. Your eye says it is rectangle. Discussion possible. I cannot say, your eye says square, my tongue says rectangle. So for that particular subject of inquiry, we need to establish which pramana can be used. So for this, that's why if you see in this pramana, we have, what is that, sir? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Shabda, you say. But there are other two. Vedanta uses another two, Arthapatti and Anupalabdhi. So what we do is, we put all that in one category, simply. Pratyaksha, inference. In inference, we add this four. Inference, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi. And then Shabda. You see, there are 6 actually. Vedanta uses 6. Of the 6, they say 5 is rejected. Only 1 is kept. That is Shabda. So he gives that Shabda Pramana here. Only through that you can get. What is that Shabda Pramana says? Shabda Pramana says it is the subject. Brahman is the subject in you. Don't try to capture that subject by objectifying it. To give that knowledge, all these words were used. All these pramanas were, all these words were used, and very many methods were established by them. Now in verse 4, Krishna moves on to giving the qualification for the Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. and the phala. 2 points he gives. Verse 4. Right, I told you 3 points he gives in 3 and 4. In verse 3, he gives 1 point. The Swarupa of Nirguna Brahman, nature of Nirguna Brahman. Now we are having the other 2 points. What are the other 2 points? Qualification and or you want to put it in a simpler language, you can even call it as nature. What is the state? What is the condition of a Nirguna Brahma Upasaka, and what does he attain? What happens to him? Having well restrained the group of senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. Qualification for Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. For Saguna Brahma Upasaka, what are the qualifications he gave? Verse 2.
Steadfast.
Should be steadfast, mind focused on me, and Shraddha, faith. So he should have faith, he should be focusing on me, and this. Keep that qualification this side, right? And see this qualification. You will know who is what is what. Right? Here, Shraddha ingelam kedayadhu. Having Sanniyamya, Indriya Gramam. Gramamna village illa. Right? I take it Gramamna village. Grama means group. Group of senses, which means all the senses. What is understood?
Including mind and intellect.
Understood is most of us can have control over 1 or 2 senses. There. Even that one sense also, some area will have control. And sometimes. Is that? It's not like that. He says, well restrained, which means what? Complete control over that particular sense all the time, not only one sense, all the senses. We ask, why this qualification?
Because external, you will go external.
Correct. That is why that point is important.
You will go external.
The nature is what? Outgoing, but the subject of inquiry, what we have to capture is inside. It's not outside. It is inside. So, if the senses were to be running outside, there is a time for you to locate it inside. Investigation itself cannot be done internally. So, first requirement is what? Do not allow the senses to mastery over the senses. Mastery over which sense? Not one sense. All the senses. Illam controls are, but one dhaan prachana. 7 o'clock. Red pig potala, sir. Not able to, not getting a sleep. No. It's not allowed, man. No. Complete mastery over extroverted nature of your senses. You see, so at any point of time, you say no, senses don't go out. It stays with you. The mind will not go and perch on the sense objects. It will not go and sit. It will sit inside. First point. Second point he gives is regarding everything equally. Samabuddhaya is another problem. To treat samabuddhi is not possible. To to treat profit and loss equally. Not possible. To treat honor and dishonor equally. Heat and cold equally can you treat? Not possible. Why? You go from Bangalore to Chennai, you say hot, hot, hot. From Chennai to Bangalore, you come cold, cold, cold. It's too cold, sir, here. Isn't it? You go abroad, it's biting cold. No, this is not the time to travel abroad. Better times are there. So don't go from December to, of course, from November itself they start. From November, mid of November to mid-March. Don't go there. Too cold. You cannot come outside the house. To come outside the house for 2 minutes to take the milk packet, you need to put on 4 layers of clothes. Otherwise, you will go and pick up the milk packet and freeze there. You cannot walk inside. It's too cold. Not possible. Now what to do? And if that fellow comes to Chennai, says, hot, 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 hot. It's too hot here, too hot here, too hot here. It's put on the AC. You know, have that AC. Without AC, you can't survive. And we'll say, I don't have a problem of AC, sir. We are very comfortable. Put him there. He will say, I want heater. You go abroad, you will not ask for AC, but you will ask for heater. That doesn't mean you go there and say, I'm not going to put on heater and freeze and die. Right? It's not like that. So don't do that also. Says, regarding everything equal. No preferences. That's the meaning. No likes and dislikes. Strictly no preferences is not the right word. Right? No likes and dislikes. No raga dvesha. Because the whole thing, mind is going, you're off balance because of the presence of raga dvesha. No raga dvesha. Then rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. Sarvatra samabuddhaya. That's a almost impossible thing to conceive. All beings, not humans, not Indians. Kannadiga, sir. You are Tamilian, na? Yeah. No, all beings, including this, which means the problem is when we say that you are not extroverted, you are withdrawn, your senses and all is withdrawn, and no raga dvesha and all that, we will equate it to a man who is insensitive. You see, it's a very good, if you take only the first 2 points, you may consider that person to be a one who is tamasic, who is indifferent. When you are indifferent towards things, then you will not be affected. I don't care. If you take a stand, udasina. No, you are not having that. You have developed such a sensitive mind that your identification is so good with people, the slightest pain of theirs will appear to you as it's a big one. It should hit you more than experienced by the other person. That is called this. These qualifications, if you have, or the person who is having this naturally, such a person is qualified for Nirguna Brahma Jnana. If he pursues that Nirguna Brahma Upasana, If he practices that knowledge, what he will get, sir? They also reach me. Right. Saguna Brahma Upasaka worships me. Nirguna Brahma Upasaka reaches me. See the difference? Poor boy. Yeah.
So it's like what is in verse 4 is the effect of verse 2. If you do what is in verse 2, which is more action, it looks like,
Exactly.
you become verse 4.
Verse 4. In verse 2, there is something to do, practice.
Yeah.
In verse 4, you cannot practice.
State.
You cannot say, now I'm going to, sir, how to practice Sarvabhuta Hiterata? How to identify with everyone? First, you try to identify with your mother-in-law. Then let's talk about.
It's bhavana here.
It's a bhavana here.
No, mother-in-law practice.
Mother-in-law poitanga, sir, not daughter-in-law. I only packed up. Practice that. You cannot do that because if you try to practice it, it will look imitation. Imitation. It's not real. It will fizzle out. Same way, all senses I'm going to control. How can you do all senses control? Sense control can be practiced only with reference to one sense or two senses. You cannot practice Sanniyamya Indriya Gramam. Full, complete control over. Okay, you should not even breathe if you have to do that. So it's not a practice. It's a state in which your senses don't move on their own. You see, on their own, it will not move. It should not move. If there is a sound, you should not turn. That's called control. Suddenly there is a dadal sound. I will also turn. You see, control is that. That's the meaning of complete mastery. Mastery over senses means every moment you make that sense move as per your wish, your will. No external stimuli can pull it. So only one possibility is, how can you practice that? It's not a practice. So it's more of the natural state of a Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. He's not struggling. He's not putting in effort to do all that. But Shraddha, you need to put an effort to build. You got to work on that. Worshipping, you have to do that. There's an effort there. Here, there is no effort. It's a state. That's why we say it's a nature. It's a natural state. So Nirguna Upasaka's natural state is this. What is it? Well-restrained group of senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. They also reach me. Right. We'll see you next class.